former Kings coach. He's also the player personnel director, former assistant coach, general manager, of course,
Everything.
great TV analyst. Jerry Reynolds, how you doing today, Jer?
Excellent. I got a nice walk in listening to you guys, and just want to tell Chris, I know you said you're old school, but I am really old school, and I totally agree with this uniform stuff.
Thank you.
At home, you ought to wear damn white.
It's so simple. If it ain't broke, no need to fix it.
Yeah.
There's no need to fix it. Never had an issue.
No, we don't, especially we don't need two teams wearing some colors.
Right, exactly.
That's just, we've got to take a stand on this. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Wow. You've really touched a nerve there with Jerry.
I'm just letting.
Jerry, Jokic and Jamal Murray, everyone, we're talking about them so much, trying to figure out why are they so good? Are they so effective together? Because not only are they good players, but their games just really complement each other.
Well, there's no doubt their games do complement each other, and I think it goes to your first point. The reason they complement each other because they're so freaking good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, these guys they've got the complete skill sets. I mean, I think Jamal has really added to his game, to where he really wasn't that great a playmaker in the past, or reacted to rebounds as well and things like that. But geez, since about the middle of the year, he's been about as good as anybody. And then, of course, Jokic is best player in the world.
Yeah. Jerry, I'm curious what you think. Me and Whitey have been the other day we were trying to figure out because, they keep trying to tell us Jokic is he passes like magic. He rebounds like Moses Malone. What elements of other players do you see in Nikola's game?
Well, he's got a little bit of Dirk Nowitzki with the unusual shot behind his head, kind of thing, and off the 1 foot. He's almost, to me, honestly, he's almost like a 7-foot version of Larry Bird. Really has ability to rebound in a crowd and get a lot of rebounds, and can shoot the three, can really creative with his passing and fakes, ball fakes and all that sort of thing. So at the end of it, when you put it all together, he's kind of a one of one. And I mean, at some point, you got to kind of look at him as probably one of the 10 best players of all time.
Wow.
We'll see where it goes. I'm not quite like we talked about the last time, whether he's the best ever. I'm not ready to go there, but he's clearly in any kind of discussion.
Yeah, the great Jerry Reynolds with us, of course, on this wonderful Friday. If Coach Spo called you up, and maybe he has already, if Coach Spo called you and said, Jerry, I need an adjustment tonight, what would you suggest? If you were coaching the Heat, what's something you think you might try tonight to slow down Denver?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, I do think that with Jokic, once he puts the ball on the floor a little bit, I think you've got to run somebody at him a little bit. I don't know that it'd work because he's so good at finding people. But to me, he will find them if you let him just kind of look over the top. So I don't know who you the way it is with in certain situations with Porter Jr. or Caldwell Pope. You might take some chances off those guys and try to make it tough on him, get the ball out of his hands, even if you're giving up some open shots. I think you almost have to do that.
Jerry, I'm wondering, watching Nikola Jokic play, I can't help but, look at the similarities between his game and Domantas Sabonis's. Jokic does it on an even greater level than what Sabonis is. But if you could tell Domantas Sabonis to watch what Nikola Jokic is doing in these finals, what would you want to take from Jokic's game?
Yeah, there's a point where you really need to go ahead and take the shot.
Yeah.
I think that Domas really is a pretty good shooter. I don't think he gives himself enough credit, and that he needs to be looking for his shot a little bit more. In other words, take what the defense gives you. I really think that Jokic does that much better than Domas. And really, Domas is kind of I mean, don't mean to put him down because I think he's terrific, but he's kind of like a junior varsity version.
Yeah.
The smaller, younger, not younger, but version of it. He's just not as big and strong, and certainly does not have the deep shooting ability. I think he could develop it, though. I really do. I mean, he shot 37% this year from three. He was extremely selective, of course, and that doesn't need to change. But he really turned down a lot of 15, 18-foot shots that he's got to stop that. You got to take them.
Hey, Jared, before we turn our attention to the Kings, how about the Chris Paul situation? He may be on the move, maybe not. If you put the financials aside, and I know they're very significant, but if you put them aside, where do you think his game would fit best right now?
Well, I hate to say this. It'd probably be the Clippers or the Lakers.
Oh man.
I know.
It's not easy for you to say that, is it?
No, it isn't. I'm just really hoping that he decides to stay in Phoenix, but, and certainly it'd have to be a buyout of some type and all that. I'd almost still be surprised if he doesn't, but I do think I could see where, if the Lakers got him and moved on from D'Angelo Russell, they're better.
Yeah. One slightly, I guess not off topic, but a little random. The draft is going to be here in the next couple weeks. I'm just curious where you fall more on the decision-making process that Charlotte's got to do at the number 2 pick between Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson. Me and Whitey have been talking about it a lot. Scoot Henderson's more of somebody who needs the ball in his hand.
Scoot can't shoot.
That is Whitey's issue with him, is that Scoot can't shoot. And so with that, Whitey's been a proponent of Charlotte, and we've seen in a lot of mock drafts Charlotte going with Brandon Miller, more not necessarily because Brandon Miller is the better player, but also mainly because the fit with LaMelo Ball. Where do you fall on that kind of decision making in terms of taking the best possible prospect available versus factoring in the fit on the team?
Well, I do think if you're not sure of which is better, or there's not a sure superstar there. And I don't think either one of those guys are sure superstars at all. I mean, I disagree with Whitey. Scoot can shoot. His problem is the hitting thing. The shooting isn't the problem.
Shoot it. You're right. He can shoot it.
He's able to do it.
And but if I were Charlotte, I mean, I think they're close enough, and certainly for their needs, I would go with the Miller. I mean, I wouldn't. LaMelo Ball is plenty good enough. I really don't think Scoot's better than he is. Or at least there's not a good reason enough to believe that he is.
And finally, Jer, and as always, we appreciate your time. Harrison Barnes, we don't know if he's going to leave or if he's going to stay with the Kings. Would you like ideally for him to maybe take a lesser role, stay, but for maybe a lesser role and maybe less money?
Well, yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, I think he's a very valuable guy because he is available. He plays. He didn't have a good playoff, but he had a good season. And I think he's going to continue to do that. I mean, if you could get him to agree maybe to a little lesser contract and maybe agree to, if need be, to come off the bench and be, and I think, he's such a team guy. If it's best for the team, I think he'd do that. And so my mind is unless you can get somebody better, you better keep him. And I think it's hard to, I know it's not that easy to replace him. You don't get better by losing assets.
Kyle Kuzma, PJ Washington, potentially do anything for you, Jared?
Yeah, they're both very talented. I mean, PJ hadn't really been as consistent. Kuzma is a talented guy. I think there's some other issues there maybe. But I'm not sure that either one is exactly what you need. As you know, I just believe they need a guy that's really a lot more physical, big player. Mm-hmm. More than, I mean, not that you could always use more talented wings and all, but I'm convinced that myself, at least, that Keegan Murray can be that long, athletic, small forward type.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think was better than Kuzma as a rookie for sure.
Yeah.
So why not, right?
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise. So I think that, to me, I think you've got a guy there. I just think you need, if you can find somebody better than Trey Lyles at the 4, I think that's the key. And Trey's a good player, and you need to keep him too. But so you're looking for somebody a little more physical, a little more active, I think, there that could play both 4 and 5, and knock somebody down now and then and make them cry.
Thanks, Jared. We'll see you tomorrow at Phantom's big birthday celebration. Do we know yet whether Mrs. Reynolds is going to be accompanying you?
Yeah, no, she's not going to be
Okay.
able to. She's taking my place at a homeowners association meeting.
Gotcha.
Tahoe. So anyway, I told her I'd represent us at the old people's home birthday party.
We'll see you then. Thanks. We appreciate it.
Okay. See you guys.
Take care.
Jerry.
Only Jerry Reynolds. Coming up next, speaking of Jokic, the best term I've heard to describe the uniqueness of Joker. Wouldn't you agree? It's like
It's a really good
hits the nail
Yeah.
on the head. Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
It's Cattles and Rami.
You don't need more than 8 bulls in your house at any